by the City Soundoff on a Wednesday night, which seems to be the usual night to do it, but some Sundays in between doing that in the Boneyard. Tonight's guest, we have Orvis Thomas. Pretty excited to have him on here. Person that I've never met in person, but I've seen you around before a couple shows there. And so let's start off the way I usually start off. Tell us a bit about who you are and what you're doing.
So my name is Orvis Thomas. I play in two different bands as of late, or three rather. I do a solo rock project with some musicians who have played within bands before. That one's just like a rock power trio. I do a country band called Orvis and His Hired Guns, which is a bigger 7-piece band. Kind of varies depending on the size of the venue. And I'm in a cover band called Tone Riders that you hopefully will see around on the club circuit Fridays, Saturdays coming up over the winter and into next summer.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Orvis, how you're a phenomenal musician. I'm just going to start with
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
How long have you been playing music for?
I started playing guitar in '96. I think I was about 10 years old then, and my brother had a guitar laying around where he was living there, and I just kind of picked it up. And the way I had my fingers on the neck, I made a G chord, just kind of grabbing it, and
Yeah.
I kind of picked it, and it sounded like December by Collective Soul. So I learned
Hmm.
how to do the bass notes, and
Yeah.
then that was the first song that I learned.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think it's maybe one of the first ones I did too. It's great, and you see
Yeah.
so many people playing it. Have you ever seen the video? Um, I forget his name. Rick Beato.
Yeah, yeah,
He had Ed Roland on there, and Ed Roland was
yeah,
playing it wrong the whole time.
yeah. I listened to podcasts on the drive home from
Oh,
work.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of I've been following that Rick Beato for a little bit. He's always got
Yeah,
some good ones on there. So I had mentioned you earlier just through a text there. I'm loving the new EP. It's so
oh,
good.
thank you, thank you.
It's so good. So it's called Abandoned Love Songs Volume One.
Mhm.
And it came out. It came out just a couple months ago,
August 10th, I believe.
August 10th. Yeah, excellent. So, what can you say about just maybe writing, recording that EP?
Um, I in a lot of the bands that I was in, I felt that we were always getting kind of precious about our songwriting. Like we were always like the ideas were kind of getting a lot of importance rather than coming up with fresher ideas and just kind of going with the flow. And a lot of times I felt that if we're hammering at an idea like 10 years later or something like that, it's kind of boring. And like I don't want to sound like it's an easy thing for me to do. But writing the songs, I think they were all pretty much written in the same day,
Oh
other
wow.
than other than like the breakdown in Planet Girls, because the breakdown part of that was just like a rhythm technique. Because I'd been playing so much country music for the whole year before. I was like wanting to see if like my picking was still in good shape. So that part I wanted to integrate into another song, which became Planet Girls ultimately.
Okay, that's actually that is my favorite song off it as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, so one thing I noticed on there, and I don't know, I'm just going to ask you about it. I don't know if there's anything to it, but is there a bit of an Alice in Chains influence on there? Just kind of with the vocals and the harmonies. I picked up on it. Actually, I picked up on Andromeda Spectrometer. Is that what it's
Yes.
called? Yeah, I kind of picked up on there. Is there an influence from them, or maybe who are some of your influences in your writing?
Well, like each song kind of had its own kind of vibe when it came to like the studio, because like I said, they were all kind of written in the same day, and I was just kind of sitting there with the guitar, wanting to write something that rocked, and so I had those ideas as well as a couple other ones. Um, it was all kind of based around the power chordy kind of you know basic balls to the wall rock.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like TDM kind of uh, was more maybe it's kind of 80s, I think, in terms of sound. But in the studio, I just kind of let everything kind of happen as it happened because Andromeda Spectrometer with the slide guitar, that I had no intention of actually doing that when I wrote it. So if I'm in the studio, I'll kind of think of ideas in kind of real time as we're doing it. Um, and oftentimes I want to kind of go left field from everything that is kind of expected, which is something that I learned when I was working with Dale Penner. I did 4 songs with him back in like 2014 to 17, and his approach was often like throw everything at it and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we had some stinker ideas, but a lot of times we had gold. So that's something I took away from him, like working with
Okay.
him.
Yeah. Sorry, Orvis. I don't. There we are. Sorry, my computer went blank for a second there. I wasn't sure if I lost it. Um, yeah, no, and just I just found it fantastic. I listened to it the other night. So I'm gonna just quickly look something up here because I gotta tell you, the first time I ever heard of you, I heard of you in a different band you were part of
Hmm.
back when, but and then out comes Love in Vain, and I believe was the video of it shot at the Park Theater.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the song. That's kind of where I was introduced to your stuff, and I remember seeing the video and remembering the Park Theater. I love the Park Theater. Love everything about that venue, especially now with the wall taken down, and it's just great there. So I heard you there, and it was just such a catchy song, and I've kind of followed up with it since then, and then you go from that to what we'll get to in a few minutes here. You're up for Manitoba Country Music Award, and then we get to the new EP. Now, complete, 3 different sides there, right?
Yeah.
If I said to you, "Oh, this is Orvis, he's up for a Manitoba Country Music Award," and then I played the Abandoned Love songs, people would say, "Well, why is he up for a Country Music Award?" But you obviously got your hands in a couple things, right? And that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I think it's it goes a long way and makes you very versatile in what you do. Um, so yeah, going back to Love in Vain, you had the EP out there. Be honest, I didn't really hear too much off it. I've been listening to the new one, but Love in Vain, how did you merge out of a band you were a part of that was a pretty rock band to Love in Vain, which had a different sound to going to country?
Um, well, Love in Vain was like an old song. Um, I think I wrote it around 2010, probably. And it was, when I wrote it, I was kind of thinking of like a kind of David Bowie kind of thing.
Hmm.
And because it's almost like Man Who Sold the World in a way, at least to me anyway.
Yeah, no, I get
And
that.
um, what I wanted to do was just make it like really poppy, like because I didn't want to just like again, it's like moving left field from where you want to go,
Hmm.
and making it poppier was I think my answer to that, to make it unique, at least from where I originally envisioned it. Because we did, you know, it's very layered. There's a lot of vocal layers as well. There's a lot of guitars in there. There's like 3 acoustics at any given time,
Hmm.
and then the bass line I did just trying to make it like really bounce and dancey.
Hmm.
And then at the end, they're having it kind of bring it down into kind of a trap beat. Um, I was really influenced by like the Timbaland productions that he did with like Genuine and Justin Timberlake, and like Missy Elliott too. Like his production techniques are pretty left field,
Hmm.
and it kind of like takes the song into an interlude and then into the rest of the album, which was a big influence for that song anyway, at least.
Yeah, yeah. No, and when I was listening to the new EP, I kind of went back and I'm like, oh, I remember that song, and it was so good. I just remember it being so good. Um, Yeah, so I just mentioned the 2024 Manitoba Country Music Awards. You were up for emerging artist.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. And so that's with the Hired Guns band.
I'm listed just as Orvis,
Okay.
which is how I submitted my name to them with the country music membership.
Okay.
I think next go around when the fees are due, I'll upgrade it to Orvis and his higher guns.
Tell
If
us
I'm good, I will thank them on the podium.
oh, for sure, right?
They're a great bunch of guys. So.
Tell us about the tell us about your Hired Guns. That's and you know what? It's I love seeing big bands together too, right? Like a lot of members, and it's always, especially a stage show. If you have the room for it, of course. Why don't you tell us about the Hired Guns?
So with Hired Guns, it kind of just started out as an opportunity to work with all the guys that I'd met over the years and that were like really good musicians. The name comes from a singer that I was working with in a group chat. He was being very condescending about me wanting to get paid,
Mm.
and it was COVID. Any money coming in, I thought maybe we should split it, but that wasn't the way he worked in the band. He or she, I should say. I don't want to give or slander anybody,
Yeah.
but the way they were kind of operating was that all the money kind of went back into the band, which is a good way to operate if your band's making a lot of money and you're making a lot of power moves and all that. But it was
Hmm.
COVID, any little thing could have helped anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And this person just got very condescending. And they said, if you act like a higher gun, I'll pay like a higher gun. And it was Higher.
Hmm.
And I sent it to my brother and I was like, what do you think this person means? And my brother said, well, the first one could have been a typo. Second one means he's committed to it. And then, so I left the band. And then when I got the country band together, all these guys are like pros. And so I wanted to pay them what they're worth. And I thought the best name would be Higher Guns, just because, I'm going to
Yeah.
pay them. They're going to play great. And that'll be that.
Yeah. It's a great story though.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So you just mentioned something that has come up in a couple episodes. COVID. How did you kind of talked about there, kind of what you were doing, but how did you get through COVID in the music world with things getting shut down as well?
I just locked myself in my room and played guitar. And like 8 in the morning, I'd start. 8 at night, I'd end, and yeah, I just played the same songs every day, and I got really good, or at least in my definition, I got really good.
Oh, it's no, you're good. You're good.
I'd have to see if I could still play some of those songs, but it was kind of like dedication to the craft.
Hmm.
Like 8 in the morning, go upstairs with some coffee, and then plug in the guitar and just start playing. Stop for lunch, go back. Um, and I looked for tabs for everything and songs that I had on my phone, and I'd play everything like Slash, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. I'd play some Pantera. I was getting really good at what's the song there? It's not I'm Broken. It's
I'm not too familiar with Pantera.
dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun.
5 minutes alone.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so I
I
know
was
a bit of Pantera.
I had that one like pretty much locked down. Now probably not so much, but because I've been doing more vocal work these past
Hmm.
months.
Yeah, and like I said on your last on your newest EP there, the vocal work. I do love the vocal work on it. I think the
Yeah,
harmonies are great on as well. And I did mention the Alice in Chains thing, and like I said, I don't know if
yeah,
it
I
was
know.
intentional, but it is there a bit, and it really caught me. So I
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
I think it's
Um.
interval choice. It's
Yeah.
because what I had with Andromeda Spectrometer was just the high vocal, and I wasn't singing it very strong, so I spent a couple months working on it. Um, And then when we recorded it, I said, let's do the low one first, and then the middle one, which would be a fifth higher than what the low vocal's doing, and then we put the high vocal on top. So
Hmm.
it's like basically like a big moving power chord in two
Yeah.
of the vocals, and that's kind of essentially what the Alice in Chains vocal sound is.
Yeah.
Because like Lane would do like the high vocal, and then Jerry would do kind of a middle to low, but not that their sound is just those two kinds of sounds, but it's reminiscent of what they're doing.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's sounds like you know a bit about music theory itself too. Um. Oh, I love when people comment in the chat. Says Thomas. Do you know Thomas Henry?
uh,
Thomas Henry. He's super fan. I love that guy. He's at like
yeah,
he's at so many shows.
it's more like
Absolutely.
months alone.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, you know what? It kind of leads into something I wanted to go on about, and I talk about it every episode.
Yes.
And with Thomas chiming in here, he's just at so many shows. The local Winnipeg scene. You know, I had a talk with someone who's in a pretty big band earlier today, and we were just talking and talking about the show. And I don't know if you saw the last episode. I had Dale McIntyre on there, if you know him, and had some people chime in at the end. And the last 10 minutes kind of turned into me and him just watching the chat and picking up what people were saying and just the wide arrangement of just people into different genres in the city. And Ronnie Ladderbrook was in there, and of course he just shreds, right? And we had Joe Carson from Ash and the Arsonist was in there, and there are just some more people in there, and just kind of chiming in and having their say. And it really stands out, the Winnipeg music scene. And when I started this Peg City Sound Off, I tried to branch off a little bit out of Winnipeg, and I had Jay Jackson from Nashville, American country singer who's fantastic. John Einerson, who's an author from Winnipeg, of course, he's kind of been everywhere. So I tried to branch off a bit, and then I just got brought back into Winnipeg because there's so much undiscovered territory of the Winnipeg music scene.
Hmm.
And with Thomas chiming in there, just such a big fan. And he's at so many different shows. He messaged me before we went live here and asked me if I was going to a different show, and yeah, he's just all over, and that's great. So what can you say about the Winnipeg music scene? What does it mean to you? Do you have a lot of friends in the local scene? I'm assuming you do, because you and me got 101 mutual friends on Facebook.
Yeah, like the scene is it's definitely very much alive. I think for getting original music out there, you can definitely do that. Like there's a lot of avenues for original songs, and then there's a big avenue for cover songs as well.
Mhm.
They got like the club circuit where you can go see a band doing like three sets as well. You got like Osborne Tap House where you get like three original bands on a Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday if it's a long weekend. Um, and a lot of musicians that I know are just people that I met going out. Like there was a time when I was going to pretty much like an open mic almost every day of the week, and just showing up and playing and meeting new people. Some of them became higher guns, and it's it's great. You just got to go out, be friendly. I don't feel like I feel like some of the bands that I was in when I was like coming up, like early 2000s, I maybe there was a sense of like competitiveness with other bands,
Mm.
because like we didn't really have the internet back then.
Mhm.
It just kind of all coming up, uh, playing what we want to play. But then you're in high school and whatnot, and you're kind of like trying to beat the band at the end of the hall and their friends and whatnot. And maybe that kind of mentality carries over to certain people, but I think that's kind of going away, and everybody's accepting of everybody else and what they're trying to do musically. Um,
Yeah, no,
be like that.
I hear you. It seems like I haven't been in involved with much, but it's kind of the same thing I've heard from people who have been doing it for a while, right? And you talk about the circuit of original stuff in the tap house. Like my band played the tap house,
Yeah.
whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, and I had a fantastic time. And we played with two other bands that were they were great. There were some covers done. I think we played two covers, but all three bands did some covers and did some originals. It was great. But it sounds like you got this locked down though, because you're doing originals and you're going to hit the club circuit soon. So you
Yeah,
kind of you kind of got it locked down. So
yeah, just it's just keeping busy, really.
yeah.
Like I had it's not like COVID where I can just be in my room for like 12 hours. I got to go to work.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So
Um,
trying to be busy.
yeah, no, nothing wrong with that, right? Um, so I always ask kind of a strange question at the end. I've kind of made it my thing now, where I ask every guest just a random question. So I'm gonna lay one on you tonight. That's a little strange. It's all music related, but if I gave you uh, a choice to pick three underrated bands, it doesn't have to be local. It could be anything. Who are three underrated bands you feel?
Three underrated bands. Let me see. Hmm. Who are three underrated bands? I don't know. I kind of feel like a lot of the bands I listen to are pretty adequately rated.
Okay, well, who are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
I listen to whatever it just kind of suits my mood. When I'm in the car, I often switch songs, much to the detriment of my partner, who wants me to settle on one song. What do I got here? I recently downloaded Dire Straits, Muddy
Hmm.
Waters, Aqua, Dwight Yoakam, Typo Negative, Alien Ant Farm, Boys to Men, Sheryl Crow, Supertramp, Nancy Sinatra,
Wow.
the
Wait,
Blues
did you
Brothers.
say Aqua back there?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
went from Aqua to Typo Negative to Dwight
yeah,
Yoakam?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, somebody at the tap house actually requested Aqua, so I decided I'd download some and see if I could transpose it to heavy rock.
Oh yeah. Maybe like something like Dr. Jones even works.
Yeah, it is a project of mine that like I've got so many ideas.
Hmm.
One thing was to buy like a 7 or 8 string guitar and transpose all these pop songs down like an octave or something.
Okay, yeah,
Just make it like really doomy.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And it like people would know the songs, but it would just be like really crushing.
Hmm.
Got
Hmm.
Panic at the Disco, Monster Trucks, Cobra Starship, Max Mac Davis.
Okay, yeah.
Underrated. Okay, here's one. My favorite singer ever, uh, Johnny Craig. He was the singer
Solo
for
artist?
Emarosa.
For who?
Emarosa, I think they were called.
Okay. Yeah.
And he kind of had some trouble with some like MacBooks that he sold on Twitter, and it was like a drug related thing.
Okay. I'll
so,
have to look
so
this one up.
he's a fantastic singer. He's actually, I think, a day younger than me,
Okay.
and so it just kind of happens, or just by chance, that he became one of my favorite singers.
Excellent. Well, there you go. So
Uh,
what's next for we've kind of talked about some things you got coming up, but what's next for you? Do you got some shows coming up?
I'm at the Tap House on November 7th. That's with Jared Adams and Riel. He's a
Okay.
local singer songwriter. Or they're both local singer songwriters, rock musicians, and
Yeah.
we're doing the power trio with Orvis. We'll play some of the songs from Abandoned Love Songs. Tomorrow, I'm in the studio finishing up a blues EP.
Mm,
Uh, there might be some more tracks added to that, but we're doing the drums tomorrow.
okay.
Um, And in terms of Abandoned Love Songs Volume 2 and 3, those ideas are going to be recorded before the year's out.
Excellent. Really looking forward to those.
Yeah.
So November 7th, Tapos.
Yeah.
Jared Adams. Yeah, Jared Adams. He was on one of the two shows that I do a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's was with Radio Riders. He played with us at the Tap House there. Yeah, great guy, great guitarist, and performer as well. He's
Mhm.
got he's got probably the flashiest jacket in Winnipeg too. So
Yeah, I've noticed that in his recent promos.
yeah,
He didn't have that when he played with me the last time. So.
no, well, hopefully he pulls that one out. So, yeah, it's been great talking with you tonight. Looking forward to volume 2 and 3. If it's anything like volume 1, everyone's in for a treat. So
Yeah, the blues EP won't be part of the volumes, so
okay,
it's more like blues covers. So.
oh perfect. You can play anything.
Yeah, I tried to.
Awesome. Well, great talking to you tonight. Look forward to seeing you. I'll definitely be at that Tap House show. I live 2 minutes from there, so
Right, awesome.
it's my favorite place. What's your favorite place to play in the city?
I've been at the Tap House more often than not these past few years.
Yeah.
I almost got a lifetime ban there actually for trying to set my guitar on fire.
Okay.
So
I'll take note.
I had to think twice about it. I was like, I don't want to be banned from here. I mean,
No, it's a good time. So
and I did end up setting the guitar on fire somewhere else.
okay, perfect. A lifetime ban?
Not yet.
No, no. Good. All right. All right. Well, been great talking to you. Orvis Thomas, anyone who maybe tuned in a bit late. Obviously love to see the viewers out there. And this is live on Facebook, on YouTube, and it'll just be posted after. So great talking with you, Orvis.
All right. Thank you.
Great to meet you. All right. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.